hello to all of my BPTV fans, YouTube fans, Facebook fans, and new fans of my guest who's been a previous guest before. I'm Alan Levine, the Talking Machine. I'm honored and blessed to be doing my 76th The Talking Machine show. Here is my great guest returning. Please tell us your name.
I'm Joanne Forrester, and I am the proud author of the story of Ginger the Cat, the story of a rescue cat.
Wow, I can't wait to start interviewing. I've talked about where she was born and grew up, went to school and business, but we're talking about a cat that I knew named Ginger, who was the life of every conversation and business and just was one of a kind. So this I'm honored to be interviewing you about the book. First, let's start. When did she pass?
Ginger passed in August of 2023, and I had promised her that I would write a book about her. And I took about a year to write it, and it was released in October of 2024.
So it's just a recent book that's on there. We'll get into the details, but I want to get a little of the background. Now, she was a little feisty and ordered you around all the time. So I know you had to put her at ease telling her you would write about her because you have many stories. We'll get into some of them. And so you were inspired to do this no matter when she passed, right?
Yes, Al. In fact, I had started it before she had passed, and then
That's
when
why I'm bringing it up. I thought you had
yeah,
told me. Go ahead, carry on.
yeah, and she had a pillow right underneath my desk where she rested, a nice big comfortable pet pillow. And often when I was writing on various other projects, her paw would rest on my foot.
Oh,
And
my.
it I would read her the stuff I was reading, and sometimes she'd go, eh. So I knew, hey, maybe that's not quite as good as I thought. But she was with me for 17 years, and she was my critic, my muse, and when needed, she was my boss, and she became my nurse in charge when I had the life-threatening situation that I had in 2019. So she was with me through all kinds of different things, Alan.
Yes, and I want to tell the people, have you tell the people how you met her because you had pets before, and I remember you saying you weren't going to have any anymore. So I understand that. I have a 17-year-old calico, little 8, and 17 and a half, and she's hanging in there. So I understand. So please tell them how you met because it's a great story.
Well, I had moved into my new house, and and within moving into my new house, within a couple months, I had two cats, Sarah and Samantha, and both of them were elderly cats, and I lost both of them. So I said, that's it. I am never, never going to have another animal as long as I live. I just can't take the heartbreak. So I went on a business trip up to Erie, PA, and I was doing writing for at that time National City Bank, and we squeezed 3 days work into or 5 days work into 3 days. And on the way home, I was just exhausted, and I had the bed and breakfast, the Bernard House in Evelington. I had stayed before, so I thought, you know what? Take a break. So I gave them a call, and they had room. So I arrived, and I'm sitting there relaxing on the porch, and it just overlooks the Allegheny River. It's really pretty up in Emlington, PA. And there was this golden orange long hair fluff ball just rolling at my feet. And I said to the owner, I said, Norma, I see you have a cat. And she says, we've been taking care of the cat. She was actually thrown out of a car. I saw that. And we've been
Wow.
taking care of her, but I really don't want a cat in the B&B because you never know who's going to be allergic. And she says, so we've been looking for a home. And I just said, well, that's nice. And she says, looks like she really likes you. And I said, Norma, I'm not taking a cat home. That, no, no. And so I talked to Norma a few more minutes, and Ginger's rolling on the floor, meowing, and just looking beautiful. And I thought, I'm going up to bed. I don't need to be tempted. I'm not bringing any cat home. Next morning, I'm sitting there on the porch real early in the morning, just watching the birds and the river flow by. And it's a beautiful scene. And there's the cat. And she goes, meow. And I said, that's nice, but I don't care what you say. You're not coming home. So I grabbed the paper and I am trying to read the paper. And Alan, she jumped up on my lap, went underneath the paper, one paw on the left cheek, one paw on the right cheek, went to my nose and went, meow. Well, that was it. I was gone. I said, all right, you can come home. She knew
You had a
how,
new cat.
she knew how to work me from the day one. So
What
I,
a great
you know,
story. Yeah. And that's in your book?
yes, it is in the book, and it talks about that's the first chapter. It talks about, and it has some pictures of her looking beautiful, and
Yeah. She
she
was a
was a
beautiful
beautiful cat.
cat.
Well, you met her, you know that.
I met her and talked to her many a time too, and she was definitely the boss.
Yes, yes, a beautiful boss at that.
Yeah, of course, Ginger. Yes.
No.
And your inspirations. Tell other people how you even got. You've written a book before, and it's Christmas time. Can we share the title of the book you wrote back then?
The book, I've written three, but the book that you're familiar with is The Gift of Holiday Valley. And it was a
Yes.
story that you actually interviewed me on about how Christmas started and our customs of Christmas. And it
Yes.
actually won an award for children's and young adult literature. So I was thrilled with that.
Congrats again. Yes.
Yeah. And then I've written some, I call it boring business workbooks, how to start and run your own business, and the David versus Goliath workbook. And fun
Hold it.
someday
Let
I'm
me
going
interrupt you. Let me interrupt you. That's not boring. I think you've got people over $75 million dollars in your
to,
business
yeah,
career. I may be wrong,
yeah.
it's lower or higher. You can correct me. But this is the lady that you need to talk to about business and pets.
Yes. Yeah, I did. We I was able to raise a lot of money for small business, and that's difficult. Even today, it is hard to understand bankers what they want. And what people don't know is that criteria often changes depending on how their losses or wins are going at the bank. So when I started to deal with for a client and look for money, I would ask my bankers right out, "What are you buying right now?" I was just straight right up, and they knew me. They knew that I would bring them a good deal. I would tell them what was the strength of the company, what was the weakness, and I was successful. But there's so much that goes underneath that people don't understand, and I learned that well.
No,
So
you're very good at explaining that, and you've helped many people that needed it and accepted your help, and the others, guess what? They ended up where they were and didn't improve. And you helped many people. I know I met people that you helped and everything else. So I'm proud to have you bring that out that she is the Empress of Biz and she does help other people even today. And I wanted to give a little segue and a shout out there because then I'll segue into my next point. Now, you wanted to self publish.
yes.
So, how did you get into that? And anybody that's interested, I always try to inspire others that you were thinking of doing a book and publishing it. And then where'd you go from there?
Well, I wanted to self-publish because I wanted. I have a lot of other books in mind, and I'm also aware that unless you're very famous, you don't get much help from your publisher. There's just you have to be famous, then they'll put you on the circuit and they'll work promoting you. But if you're just a regular author, you have to promote yourself. Now I
Yes.
have um, an affinity for promotion, so I thought, okay, I went the traditional way before, but then I found out I had to promote myself. And I did, and got help from people like you, which was always great. But this time, I wanted
Thank
to
you.
learn how to do the self-publishing aspect of it, and I took classes, and I worked with Mila Johansson of Pen to Publish, and I took a series of classes of how to do that, and it was coaching. It's not as simple as anyone thinks. Yes, it's free, but the classes aren't free, and I was glad I took that. Plus, I got a lot of information in today's social media how to promote yourself, and that's hard for writers to understand, Ellen. They have to
Sure.
go out and promote themselves. Uh, so I used, and it actually ended up kind of being a hybrid because Mila liked what I did and what I do, and that she asked me to come under her banner. And even though we are self-published on KDP, she is helping promote me, and I've continued
That's
to take
great then.
classes.
Very good.
Yeah, and I continue to take classes. It's the social media world is sometimes, oh, you and I know, can be confusing, can be negative.
Yes.
You have to really direct the theme, and I'm very fortunate that there's a lot of people that love cats and animals. So I've tied into a really good market, and there are millions of cat owners out there. And I think Ginger the Cat's going to be a nice long staying book. So I won't be
No,
happy
that
till
is
the
great. And I think I found out a fact years ago there's more cat owners than dog owners in America.
yes,
So that
yes, there is.
you being a savvy businesswoman and author, you're tapping into the right market with animals.
Yes, I am, and I love dogs. I love cats. I love animals. We even had a ferret. My son brought home a ferret, and
Oh
we ended
my.
up calling her Nina Fawcett Ferret. And she
No
was,
way.
yeah, she was a terror. She kind of had she was only 2 pounds, but she had the personality of Ginger the cat. And
Whoa.
I'm going to write a story about her and her
Just
adventures.
a little tease
Uh,
for a new book. Yes.
yeah, I probably have to live to about 200 to write all the books that I have in my head.
Well, I'll look forward to them. Yes.
Thank you. So,
All right. We covered that. Now, how is the process of trying to write your book, get it edited, and do all the things there that it could stop a lot of people? Because I've had friends that say they're writing a book and this has been going on for 30 years.
yeah.
So, how did you get to this point where you have a book published this year?
Well, I've always written. I found stories when I was 9 years old that I wrote. What
Nice.
has to be is you have to throw your critic out the door, put her in a freezer somewhere, do something.
Whoa.
Because you write, you just, some people do better writing with paper and pencil. Other people do better on a computer. Some still do typewriters. And I learned that even if I wrote, and that's why I took the classes, it encouraged me every day to do something. And
Okay.
I wrote a lot about Ginger the cat on Facebook because she has quite a fan club. And so what I ended
I've
up
liked your
doing,
posts. Yes.
yeah,
I've
I
liked them.
ended up pulling a lot of those posts and going over and looking at them and using some of those posts and the pictures in the story. But you gotta,
That's a
you
great tip.
just
Yeah.
have, yeah, you just have to throw out your critic and start to write. And then when you start to write, then you start to put it in the computer. And Grammarly's wonderful, but I will tell you this: Grammarly. I had a big argument with Grammarly because a cat does not speak perfect English.
Oh my
She speaks
goodness.
Catalese, and Grammarly kept on trying to make her speak, human English. In fact, I had to say I had to hire an editor. I did hire an editor. You always want to hire
Okay.
an editor. No matter how good you think you are at writing, you're going to miss stuff. And a book that is self-published is really scrutinized. Did they make errors? And a lot of people make the mistake. They think they know what they're writing, but I can guarantee you're going to miss stuff. So you really do need to have good friends look at it. I have one friend, I call her the grammar Nazi.
Uh-uh.
But I hired an editor too, and I had to keep
Wow.
on explaining. The cat has her own voice. Let her speak in her own voice, not just
Yes.
people's voice. But so you hire an editor. You go through that. You make sure. I also have 53 colored photographs in the book,
Hold that
and
book up steady. Let's see that.
yes, and I took all of the photographs. This is one of my favorite. I don't know if you can see it. It's one of my
Yeah, hold
favorite
it
of
still.
hers.
Yeah. She's
And
beautiful.
yeah, and she was very photogenic. And I had the photos retouched. I hired someone to do that because I wanted her to look the best. So if you're going to self-publish, you're still going to have to invest in help. And fortunately, you look around, you get referrals, and I was with Mila Johansson, so she was good at helping me get good professional help too. The other thing
Sure.
is that I used Fiverr for the cover, and I gave him the picture of her, and he worked with it, and he designed the cover. And
Hold that
you need
cover
to.
up in front of you. Hold that cover up high in front of your face. Let's see it. Oh, the
Can
light's
you
on
see
it a
it?
little bit. Can you pull it back a little? Yeah, move it forward again. Put it up again and up raise it up a little. Like right there. Hold it there. We get a pretty good view of her beautiful face.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you. Thanks for letting me
you're
direct you.
welcome.
Put that down and continue talking.
See how good I listened to you?
Yes, you're doing well. You're
Yeah.
well, I'm
So
trying to
I
help.
used Fiverr for her photographs,
Right.
or for her front cover. He did a very nice job, and so when you're writing a book, one way or another, if you want it to look right, you want it to people to pay attention to it, you want to get interviews, you have to have a good product. And I was
Yes.
real pleased that I found the people that I did, and thanks to Mila, that was a big help. I'm still taking classes. I'm going to be
No,
working
that's
on another
great.
story, and I'm going to be taking a
Well, you
class
got
this
200 to
Saturday.
write, so you got 200 more to
Yeah.
write, so you better take some classes. I want to interject a point here. I'm always goal oriented. So, how many pages were you looking to write? And is there any recommendation on what to do there?
Well, if you're doing on Kindle, there's a certain amount of pages that you want
That's why I'm
that,
asking. Yeah.
and I originally, my book has 118 pages. They like to
Okay.
have somewhere between 60 and 100 pages. Now, what I did with my book, because I felt that she was so beautiful, I put a lot of photographs. Most people don't do as many photographs
No,
as
that's
I did.
great. You're honoring Ginger. Yes.
Yes, and 53 photographs. The cat got so as soon as I put up the cell phone, she'd just start posing. It was like, oh, okay, here I am. She
Right.
she got
No,
used to
well
me.
then you're talking about pictures of her. Now me knowing Ginger, how many pictures do you have with the stolen jewelry that she stole from you daily?
I must have about 40. She would, and I have a
Oh
whole
my
chapter
goodness.
on Ginger, the jewel thief. She loved jewelry, and her
Give us a
taste
little
was
insight. Yeah, give us a little insight on how she stole your jewelry.
Ginger was a dedicated cat burglar. She was just she had very expensive taste. And then she liked anything bright and shining. And I first found this out after a couple months after I had her. pieces of jewelry were missing. I thought, gee, am I getting early dementia or something? And I called my mother and I said, Mom, do we have early dementia? And that time Mom was, in her 70s. And she said, no. And she said, but, she said, everybody keeps their memory. And she did. To the day she died, she was sharp as a tack. She said, but your father's family's just plain weird, so you never know what's going to happen there. I thought, okay. But I soon found out, Ellen, that um, Ginger was stealing my jewelry.
Oh my
And I
goodness.
found it out when one day I had a big walk in closet and I was rearranging it. And I looked down underneath the clothes and there was all my jewelry that had been missing. And she was in the closet and she was yelling at me. And I thought, oh my God, that cat's a thief. So for the next 17 years, we played the jewelry game. She learned
Oh my
how to
goodness.
open drawers open, doors. I mean, there was nothing you could keep from her unless you had it on you. If she saw it and she
Wow.
wanted it, she found a way to get it. And I have pictures of her stealing jewelry in this book. And the
That's
title of the
amazing.
chapter, yeah, she was amazing. She loved pearls too.
Oh my.
And I have pictures of
And
her with pearls on. I'd come in and she'd, well, what were you doing? She was in my jewelry chest and she pulled them out and she had them on her.
well, since
So
I
she was quite a
interrupted you,
jewel.
when they get the book, tell them what chapter that'll be. So,
Oh, that is chapter 5. All that glitters, shiny, expensive, and bright belongs to Ginger the cat. I
okay,
don't know if you
thank
can
you.
see this or not.
Just hold that up right there. Yeah, right there,
There she
steady.
is sitting
No,
on
back.
top of my jewelry box.
Okay, we got it.
So
We got it.
she was just amazing. And even after she died, she passed. I'm in a much smaller place now. I had another walk-in closet, and I'm back in there, and I find in a spot that I could not easily get into a whole bunch of jewelry that she had hidden. Even as she was older and she couldn't move that well, but she still managed to
Right.
get a hold of jewelry. So she was
What an
amazing.
amazing cat Ginger was to do that. And you even said you'd be on the computer and she'd be there with the computer and interact with you and tell you you're done or tell you how to do something, or how did that work out, your interactions there?
Yeah, she would lay on the keyboard too when she wanted your attention, which of
How'd that
course
work
didn't.
out?
Oh, yeah. I would call my tech guy and say, everything is jammed up. And he'd say, and what did the cat do today? So,
Wow.
well,
No,
and
that
she
is
loved
good.
the other cats on the screen, Alan. I have a picture in the book of her looking at the computer, and there's two other cats on the screen, and I swear they knew how to get in there and communicate
Well,
with one another.
we'll tease people. You buy the book. Where can they buy your book at?
They can do it. They can go on Amazon. It's Ginger the Cat: The Story of a Rescue Cat by Joanne R. Forrester. I do have some book signings, but I've sold out of all my books I have here. And so if you
Congratulations.
can find them, yeah. Oh, I saved one for you, but I was surprised at how fast they went. If you
Thank you.
have Prime, the shipping is free. If you don't have Prime, then you have to pay shipping. So that's one of the benefits of Prime. And if you have
Okay.
Prime, or either way, if you pay the shipping, the book is in within a couple days. I'm just amazed at how fast it comes to individuals. To
Well,
authors, when you own, yeah, when
I
you
like to
order an
promote,
author copy,
and
pardon me.
I like to promote and do some marketing. So get Ginger the Rescue Cat now. Order up on
Yes,
Prime, and we don't worry about the rest of the details. Just get this book. I'm going to get my copy soon on the 23rd, so I can't wait for that. And it's just good. Now, I noticed some Christmas decorations up. So I got to
Yeah.
ask, how did Ginger interact her Royal Highness during Christmas?
She loved Christmas. Everything
Okay.
Christmas was she thought was invented for her. On my Facebook page and then on her, we have a Facebook page, Ginger the Cat slash book. Um, she loved Christmas and she would help me with everything Christmas and help in quotes. She and the baby Jesus. I have a manger scene that we had made, and every morning Jesus would be in a different place. She never broke
Oh
them,
my goodness.
but she just would push them around. She would take off bulbs off the Christmas tree, and then they'd be laying. I'd wake up in the morning, they'd be laying all over. Although every once in a while, and I have pictures in the book, she would take
Yes.
a flying leap into the tree, and her and the tree came down. So,
Right.
uh, yeah, she was absolutely fascinated by Christmas. She helped me write Christmas cards. She had a fan club. I had to mail cards to her people. So,
No way.
yeah,
Wow. I didn't know
uh,
that. Thanks for these insights. Yes.
yeah. She, and I think that's one of the reasons Ginger's book is selling well is that she was on Facebook. She had a following, and people, when she passed, and I posted, I got so many condolences, and a couple people wrote and says, I just felt like my cat passed. I just
Ah, that is so
identified with
great.
her. Yeah.
No, that is so great. You're truly blessed. What an honor to do this. We got about 2 minutes to go, and I always like to talk to my great guests. And how would you inspire others to try to attempt to write a book like yours, or maybe about what they're interested in or what they've experienced?
Everyone has a story. Everyone has lessons to share. They have something that would benefit others. And if you get yourself tied up into knots, you won't write. So just sit down and write. It's good for you. You get insight into yourself, and you start to develop a little sense of humor about yourself too. So pick up the pen and write.
Joanne, thanks for your wisdom and your encouragement there. I'm so proud, honored, and blessed to help promote Ginger the Rescue Cat on Amazon today. And thank you for being a great returning guest. She's one of the few that have come back and returned as a guest. So I salute you. Alan Levine, the talking machine. Stay tuned next year when we do our 77th Talking Machine show. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.